Hey friends, welcome to episode 2 of We All Got Stories edition, How I Flourished. I am here with Jasmine Beard of AJOY Consulting. So excited to talk about her entrepreneurial endeavors, about her business, and about an exciting event that's coming up this week. So be sure to tune in. As always, like, follow, share, and subscribe both to Friends Who Flourish and AJOY Consulting.
Meet Jasmine Beard, the founder of AJOY Consulting, where they help executive leaders leverage self-awareness to achieve growth and expansion in business. Make sure to like, follow her, comment at AJOY Consulting.
All right, so again, I'm here with Jasmine Beard of AJOY Consulting. And as you know, I always preach that we are the best person to do our elevator pitch and our self-marketing. So I will let Jasmine introduce herself and tell us all about AJOY Consulting.
Great rising, everyone. Bon dia, bonjour, buenos dias, and welcome. I'm Jasmine Beard, Chief Strategy Consultant of AJOY Consulting. We help C-suite leaders leverage self-awareness so they can empower their teams to experience growth and expansion for the business. So the leaders can do more of leading the business versus the day-to-day management of the business.
I like it. If you are not already hooked, I don't know what else will get you. So, Jasmine, I've been seeing you we've been isolating around each other. I see your work both on social media and in the community. So let me first thank you for partnering with me and coming on to the show to talk about what you do. So after telling us that you are here to teach leaders to how to make their teams grow, correct? What inspired you to do that or to start this business?
Well, for such a long time, I've always had a very deep interest in people and their behaviors, the way that they think, why they do what they do. And over the years, I found myself often appointed or just placed or invited into leadership positions without even asking for it. And I kept wondering why that was. And of course, as a person who, lives by self-awareness and consistent reflection and introspection, I kept looking at what is it that makes people feel comfortable to follow me or want me to, or ask me to come and lead, right? Most of my leadership experience has been in an executive capacity, whether either in a business setting or even in a nonprofit leadership and executive setting. So with that being said, I said there's got to be something to this. With my experiences in workplaces and corporate and other organizations that I've worked for, I look at what did I not like about those experiences and why did I not stay long? And we all know people leave managers, not the company, because the company is just a thing, right? And so, and honestly, people leave cultures because the managers create the culture. So looking at that, I believe that it is, business is hard. Our day-to-day work is hard, life is hard, but it doesn't mean that it can't be enjoyable. And that's really what gets people through the day. I remember one of my most challenging work experiences as a college student selling cell phones to the public. One of the things that got us through as a team was the joy we experienced. We had some rough days. As you know, if you've worked in retail customer service or working with the public, it's tough. It's challenging, but the joy, the laughter that you experience, the fun through it all, by the end of that shift, we leave it there because the jokes and the laughter, the endorphins and everything, it's like, okay, we've got enough fuel to come in one more day.
Yes.
And so with that being said, we didn't always have the leaders to protect us. That's so important. And sometimes the leaders don't know what it is that their team needs, right? And sometimes they don't want to know.
Yes.
And that is very dangerous. When you don't want to know, you're going to have high turnover because it means that you're not willing to look in the mirror and face the hard facts. I keep seeing all the time, we know the phones are listening, but I keep seeing so frequently the amount or the extent to which a person can grow is equivalent to the amount of truth that they can face about themselves, especially in the face of discomfort.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. If you didn't catch that, pause now, rewind, write it down. That's good.
And it's so true. That's the self-awareness piece, right? And I like to say intentional self-awareness because self-awareness is not just about when things are going great,
Yeah.
when life is going smooth. It's more so about who are you when things hit the fan,
Yeah.
right? And how do you want to show up?
Yeah.
And those that know me personally know that I have countless amount of stories of things that tested my character, my self-awareness, and I had to be intentional and mindful about how I wanted to show up, because I understand this story, this journey isn't just for me. It's for someone else that I'm going to lead. It's for someone I have led that might call me back and say, hey, I have this situation. I remember when we were working on this project. How would you handle this scenario with this colleague, this client, this business partner, or this employee, right? Or this leader, this manager I'm working for. So being intentional about how we show up even when it doesn't feel good, and accepting that.
Yeah.
Not judging yourself,
Yes.
accepting it and embracing and say, okay, I'm here at this moment. Maybe in the past I didn't handle this as much as favorably as I thought I would have, but this time I'm going to do it different. It doesn't feel good, but I'm going to navigate through this in a way that the person I'm becoming would want to navigate through this scenario. And so that is one of the reasons that you asked me in this too, but one of the reasons that this event is happening.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's so important. It's so important that people are mindful about how we show up impacts others. Your energy can drain people, or it can empower and energize them. But you have to choose what that looks like.
I love that, and you said so many good things, but the first thing that stands out is the workplace culture.
Yes.
You know, as I am now emerging from a young professional to, I guess, intermediate, when I'm seeking other jobs, workplace culture became number two, if not number one, to what my salary was going to be, benefits, how directly related it is to the skill sets I had or wanted to learn. But it's the environment, because we all probably have stories of being at jobs where we loved the job, but the environment and the culture was taxing. And so you go in sometimes bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, wanting to change the culture. That was me. Or you were hired to come and facilitate some discussions or trainings to help change the culture. And you have these moments where you question what you're doing, you question if your actions were the most appropriate. And then, for me, I had to learn grace. Both grace and giving myself the patience and the time to maybe learn, to grow, to look back and say, that wasn't the best me. It's okay. It's not going to take me out, but what do I need to do to learn to now bring that person in this space when things are not going the way that I want them to go? So already off the bat, the work that you are doing is important from every aspect, be it top down or bottom up, because you are. And I say it a lot to my coworkers. We spend more time with our coworkers sometimes than most family members, right?
Absolutely.
And so that
family.
Exactly. And so much like a family, there are some days that if I could choose, I do not want to be around you.
Yes.
But I am here for all intents and purposes. So that culture is very important. And so I think, again, what you're doing and what you're bringing and the knowledge that you have, people you need to get, whether you are a leader, if you are emerging or trying to figure out your profession, or if you are a seasoned vet, I think, of course, the things that AJOY Consulting teaches and puts out in the community is very much so important. A second thing that you said that I appreciate is growth. That's what Friends Who Flourish is all about. I believe in community. I believe that shining your light doesn't dim mine, and it helps for the growth. So if you can, tell me about an experience where you felt it grew you the most, or you've seen it grow your constituents in your work environment.
Ooh, oh my.
And this is an unscripted question, so I apologize. We're going to give her time to think.
It's okay. I just have so many. One, because I am so reflective. Like my daughter says all the time, Mommy, everything doesn't have to be an interview. Because when she comes home, what was the favorite part of your day? What did you like most about today? What was one thing you were proud of today? I'm always asking her that, because when you use every single moment of your life as a learning experience, nothing is in vain and nothing goes to waste. Even the smallest act. I'm just going to share this real quick.
Okay.
There was a time I was, shortly after my mother passed, that was a very dark and challenging time for me, because it was unexpected. But I just noticed how I was feeling, and the weight felt so heavy. Walking down the sidewalk one day, and I'm watching a caterpillar crawling on the sidewalk. And I thought, that caterpillar is so unbothered. All these big giant hands, all these shoes that are walking by this caterpillar. It is so unbothered. It could have been smushed at any given moment, picked up by a child or some curious adult. Anything could have been plucked across the road. But it was so unbothered and just moving through the pavement in such a graceful manner. And I said, you know what? Life is heavy right now, but all I gotta do is just keep putting one foot. And the shoes I had on hurt. Okay. And the shoes I had on, I said, man, this is one time I would really love to drive an Uber, but it would be terrible to drive an Uber 3 minutes down the road, which would be like a 5 to 7 minute walk. So I was like, Jasmine, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Just breathe. So I was like, this caterpillar, that small moment, was a learning experience for me. And back to your question of what are some of the experiences where I experienced the most growth. Well, the first one was before I left corporate. I knew that it was time to transition out because I started experiencing burnout. My health was taking a toll. But there was a colleague who spoke to me in a very aggressive way that was unprofessional, and I did not like that. And so the previous version of Jasmine would have not necessarily argued back, but would have completely disregarded him. Not spoken to him, shut down, act like he didn't exist. That would have been me because that was the way I handled those things. But I said, Jasmine, you know you're transitioning out. Because we knew with where we were, we only had 1 day of PTO, and I normally would carry over 8 to 10 days every day. PTO, ETO, what have you. So with that being said, you only have 1 day, so you know 6 more months to the end of the year staying here is not going to be feasible. So we've got to transition out, and you know that you had started the company already, but now we're going full time. So what happens if you have a client that gets angry and upset and emotional, whether due to lack of self-awareness or just because they don't have emotional intelligence or just because they're also human, right? How are you going to handle that? Are you going to shut down on the client and say, I ain't talking to them today because they got upset? No, right? So it was like, I had a lunch meeting with this person after that incident occurred. It was with this individual, and they were a senior level position, and I had it with my manager. So I said, no, we're going to face this, and you're going to go in that lunch meeting as if nothing happened. It's not to say that it was okay for him to do that, but sometimes people will self-correct. Now, doesn't make it right, but what it meant was that he was so comfortable doing that because it was never addressed in a way that he was held accountable. And so at the end of the day, we went to lunch. We had lunch, and after that, someone else went to my manager to say what happened. And the next day, my manager said, I had no idea that occurred. I am so sorry. By that time, mentally, I'm already gone.
You don't even matter.
But I appreciate it, right? So, because it's like, I know what I'm experiencing when I'm having health challenges. Your heart is racing. Cold night sweats on Sundays because I have to go in. And the stomach pains, it's not worth it. So to not belabor the question or the answer, I just, that was one of those moments. That was a key critical moment because it's like, it's a joy doing business, and we've got to hold our joy. Even when certain situations can rob you of that joy, you've got to be that beacon and that example for yourself, for your teammates, for your family, and for your clients. I've had clients say, this would have really made me angry, but it just feels like working with you. We feel like you're part of the team, and we appreciate the calmness that you bring because we would have been up in arms by now when we experienced this before. And I said, because it's serious, but it's not the end of the world. And as long as we're all breathing, we can navigate through this. And so that's what I enjoy most. Another example was when there was a team member that I consistently had friction with in another organization that I led, and I would just take the comments and things, but this was one particular day I had a human moment, and my team had never heard me speak in a very stern tone, and it was a human moment, but at the same time, one of the things I was most proud of, and it's a representation of the growth that I've had over the years as a leader. But I would say, before that call ended, I apologized to everyone. I apologized to that person because I spoke sternly to them in front of the team, and I had never done that before. And they were all shocked. They said, "We've never seen her speak like in that manner." And so, but I apologized, and I said, before we end this call, I want to apologize to you in front of everyone because one, what you said, although it was not right or accurate and it wasn't fair to speak for me, I still want you to know that I respect you, and I want you to know that the way I responded was not the best reflection of my leadership. So I want you to know that before we transition out of this call.
I should have brought you some flowers. No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it is refreshing because I'm still at this spot. I'm trying to build friends who flourish, but I still have a full-time job, which is great. But anyone who has job history, we've all been in situations where we felt we would have handled it or should have handled it differently. But to hear from leadership, it's refreshing to hear, self-reflection and apologies, because sometimes in some spaces you don't have leadership that, let alone takes the time to do it publicly, nevertheless feel that way, and so I'm sorry to cut you off, but you need your flowers. And with all that you said, I want to be connected, and so I know that you have an event that is coming up, so I would like to transition to tell us about the event, because people need to be in the place. It's been a joy just to sit in this close proximity to you, right? So I can only imagine about doing business with you and about what you impart, not only to entrepreneurs, but to leaders and anyone else in the corporate world. So tell us about your event. I'm excited. Yeah.
So, it's AJOY Doing Business is the name of the event. And honestly, anybody that knows me, I love to be very transparent. And vulnerability is a strength, right? So let's lean into it. I was on the fence about doing this event. It's 7 years in the business. Am I exactly where I'm? Thank you. Am I exactly where I want to be? Not necessarily, but it's a journey, right? We all know you have peaks and valleys.
Yes.
So, but I said, you know what? But I'm still out here.
Yes.
I'm not in the grave. I'm still out here. We're still out here. We're growing, and we're still doing things. So, with that being said, I said, well, if it's meant to happen, I will see the signs, because I wanted to avoid doing it just for the sake of doing it.
Yes.
And then I started thinking, well, I've done events before. They've been quite successful. I know that I was burned out from doing other types of events, but I said, well, this one is going to be different because it's under our brand. We kept doing community events for others, but this is under our brand. And then most importantly, what really moved me forward was, in so many rooms and meetings, we keep hearing the doom and gloom, the negative energy about, oh, it's so bad out here. They're doing this, they're doing that. I'm like, yes, there's so much, but guess what? We can't control all of that.
Right.
What we can do is be like that caterpillar, unbothered, and keep moving with grace.
Yes.
One foot in front of the other. Your feet might hurt, the shoes are too small, or you've gained a little weight, or they're swollen over the day, but one foot in front of the other. So, with that being said, I said, there's so many of my colleagues that are experiencing anxiety because of the uncertainty. They're afraid to move forward or make a decision, and we know what paralysis does. Those of us that are overthinkers, perfectionists, paralysis will stall your growth in a heartbeat. Make a decision and move forward. And so, Jasmine, listen to yourself and your own advice. Make a decision and move forward. Either you're gonna do it or you're not. So I did it, and again, the impetus is to rejuvenate and rejuvenate and restore joy into the environment, and just bring people together that are about integrity, authenticity, abundance, collaborativeness, right? Collaboration and community. That's the most important thing. And the abundance is a key thing, because you said something earlier. My light doesn't dim yours.
Yes.
I mean, if you put 2 candles together, you're gonna get more light.
Thank
you put
you.
3, 4 candles together, you're gonna get more light.
Thank you.
And if you're not careful, it's gonna burn the whole building down,
on.
right? But it won't be cold.
Right.
We'll all be
Right.
warm.
Right.
So the same thing is in anything that you're doing is, bringing various lights in the community and in the business world together to say, how can we be beacons of light? Some of us may be one client away from having to close doors, or not being able to make payroll, or things of that sort. But guess what? When you know people and you're moving in community, that one person can be the one connection you needed to open up a new door for you that you didn't even know existed.
And that's what it's about.
So
that is what it's about. Like, I am so glad you get it, and you're just helping me, because Friends Who Flourish has changed. It's morphed. It's paused. It's been scared. But like, yes, I'm trying to figure it out. But like, I really do feel I have a heart to serve, and I don't mind amplifying other people because it makes me happy. Because you never know who out there, like you were saying, could be your next step to what you've been looking for, could be someone's lifeline to what they've been looking for. So
absolutely.
I appreciate and I can touch and agree in what you're saying. So your event is this Thursday and Friday?
Yes, so on Thursday, September the 11th, we will have a meet and greet with our key sponsors and Mr. Mike Ray Anderson. Mike Ray Anderson is a Hollywood Emmy Award-winning actor.
Yes.
This man has a phenomenal story from death row to Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so when you talk about resilience,
Oh, wow.
this man is a
Yes.
exemplary of resilience. The people that will be in the room on Friday, so let me go back to Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday will be here at 111 West Lewis Street. The tickets are on Eventbrite. But we'll also be showcasing Kingston Vibes, which will be, it's Jamaican cuisine. So he'll be serving birria oxtail tacos.
Yep.
Jerk chicken tacos, as well as a vegan option. I think it's black bean and sweet potato curry tacos. And he has his own herbal teas. AK London Lifestyle, she has some phenomenal beeswax candles that burn clean and
Okay,
clean
good.
your air.
Good.
So we're all of, this event also incorporates environmental friendliness, sustainability, green energy. And so they will be there. We'll also have some special beverage service by Miss Daisha Banner of A Glass Above. She's a mobile cocktail and mocktail service. She's phenomenal. She's done large conferences, private events. She is phenomenal, stellar professional. And then we also will be there with our strategic partners, a team and community of people who believed in my vision, who believed in my vision, but also added to and enhanced the vision to make this a reality. And that's what this event is about. It does take a village. Nobody got here alone. None of us were hatched from an egg. It took two people to get us here.
Yes.
So at the end of the day,
shout out to my village, because they still villaging. Okay.
Absolutely. And so, and that is one, just the beauty of and the passion for showcasing other small businesses. We'll have Miss Cecily Jordan. Her content creator. Yes, ma'am.
I love her.
She will be here on Thursday capturing some content for us and talking about abundance. We'll have another powerhouse content creator, Miss Chisa Penix Brown.
Yes, Lady Business.
Yes, Lady Business. To give it to the people. She'll be helping us out on Friday, but she'll also be showing up, serving, and giving it to the people on Friday as well. So, in transitioning into that, Friday the 12th will be at Union Square campus. 8:30 a.m. We say 8, get there a little early for breakfast, but 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that's where we'll have the Powerhouse Empowerment Panel, where we're going to help people get insight to not only what industries are out there. I mean, we know, but at the same time, these are industries that you can transition into if you're losing contracts in transportation, if you're losing contracts in, let's say, the data space or automotive, but there's still some other industries that are thriving and growing, or there's still gaps that have yet to be addressed. And you just might be that solution. And if you have, let's say from a talent perspective, there are other professionals in the room that can fulfill that talent challenge for you, whether you're from HR, SHRM, or if you're a small business owner. And one of the examples I use okay, you might not be able to purchase the agency services anymore,
Mhm.
but there may be a freelancer in the room or a smaller firm that can still deliver great results, but you can partner together, right?
Yes.
To continue to provide a great, stellar customer experience for your clients. And so that empowerment panel will have a few industries that will be represented. Again, Mr. Mike Ray Anderson will be speaking on the panel, sharing about how we can get into the film industry,
Okay.
some opportunities, not in front of or behind the camera. That's what most people think. It's like there's so many ways,
Right.
and I really enjoyed talking to him about. I said, man, these people need to know
Yes.
that there are opportunities for them because a movie is also a business.
Yes.
It's an LLC.
All these multiple parts.
They need
and
marketing.
Yes.
They need construction for the movie sets because there's a lot of filming going on in North Carolina, in particular Wilmington.
Yes.
And so, you know, there's a lot of different industries that the film industry leverages for a successful production. And so, and then we have Ms. Rachel Cash of AJOY AI. She'll be talking about ethical resource data, how to create your ideal client profile and understand what they're spending and investing in your services and your products in their industry. That's golden. That is golden. Miss Summer Stanley of Inclusive Scan and My ASL Teacher Rocks, how to be more accessible and how to reach more clientele in the deaf and hard of hearing community because they're often not thought of when it comes to business, and they have businesses. Mr. Matt Maxey is phenomenal, definitely dope. He does a lot of the ASL interpreting for concerts and rappers and various artists and celebrities. So there's a whole wide world out there, and we're bringing it here to the Greensboro area and there will be people traveling from all over. We'll have Mr. Nathan Roberts talk about solar energy, opportunity in the green space. There's money flowing into the green space.
Come on now.
Hence.
Come on now.
Okay.
You know, I hope y'all have been taking notes, pausing, rewinding, searching, and Googling, okay? Because if you don't, I know I am. And all I hear is you need to be there Thursday, get your ticket today, dress well for Friday, and come with questions because you are bringing a plethora of diverse, not only conversation, but knowledge. Like you are really, it is here for the taking. You heard it here on Friends Who Flourish. There is hopefully no excuse, right? People are coming from out of town. You still have time. And tickets are still on sale, right? Tell us again where they can get tickets from.
They can get tickets from Eventbrite, and just type in AJOY, no space, AJOY, and then it will come up. Will be the first event on there, and I do want to give a shout out to our co-host, CVMSDC, and so they will also be in the room. And if you're interested in getting certified, be sure to talk to Dominique Milton and Mr. Greg Watson or myself, Mr. Kima Washington of Brandley Creative Group, and Ms. Daisha Banner. All of us are MBE certified. And then we also will be co-hosting with YWCA Greensboro. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to them to support their women and children's emergency shelter. So we are, you know, again, that impact, you know, supporting small business owners, making sure you have some action items to take away. There will be some panelists that will be talking about how to get creative funding from PI-NC Partners in Equity. And then with Mr. Gilberto Cabrera, as well as Cleve Jenkins from the Institute Capital. So it will be a very well-rounded and rich panel, and you'll walk away with some action items. That's the key. One of our core values is execution, and I always like to include how can my attendees, my clients, or anyone that's attended any of our workshops or speaking engagements, what action items can they take in the immediate or near immediate future? How can this move the needle? We don't need you investing your time and you don't get an immediate return on investment.
Again, all I hear is get your ticket. All I hear is Eventbrite, AJOY. All I hear is to make sure you are in the building and bring a friend, because remember, we are about community and connections. And so don't just have this information and keep it to yourself. Invite and tell a friend. Make sure that you are sharing this episode and you're liking. Definitely, if you do not follow AJOY Consulting, please do. she does this on the regular, okay? And so, but now she's put together what sounds and what I believe, and I'll be in the building, a beautiful event where you can network, you can get information, and really begin to think about your next step, whether you are just starting and want to take that leap of faith, or you have been seasoned in the game. Times and things are changing, and this event is here to address some of that. And so, one last question I will leave you with about the event is, why is it important now? Why do it now, right? I know you were kind of thinking, should I, shouldn't I? And you said yes. Why?
Well, if you've ever had a hunch or a calling, when you're waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, it's, you're calling. Sometimes people are like, why are you doing this event? You know, you've got this going on and that going on. And it's like, I'm a firm believer, because I've seen so many times your vision, your calling was not a conference call. You're going to look crazy. For those that are religious, they talked about Jesus, and they talked about any other person that was, as they say, crazy enough to change the world or create the change they want to see. So once you know that, it's part of the process. But at the end of the day, I just feel like, one, it's just part of my way of bringing into the world what I want to see, not waiting for somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Just like we don't have to wait for government to do things for us.
Yeah.
We don't have to wait for a policy. We don't have to wait for a client to do something for us, or we don't have to wait for a referral or someone else to hand us something.
Yeah.
Create it.
Yeah.
That's what entrepreneurs do. That's what artists and creatives.
Yes.
That's what we do. We create.
Yeah.
And so humans in general, we create.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to create. And to that point, it's just, it's so much negativity, and it's so important to invest your energy in building what you want to see versus consistently draining yourself and fighting what you're trying to get away from. You have to choose what energy you want to ride. It's important to acknowledge what's going on, but it's so much more important and energizing to build what you want to see and what you want to produce. And when you mentioned We're Better Together, we do have a sale just for today.
Come on. Exclusive. I hear exclusive. Friends who Flourish, exclusive. Okay.
2 for 1. So
yes.
Make sure you get your tickets like ASAP, because when they go off, they go off. So please be in the room. Like, I can't tell you how important it is to be in the room, because there's not always the next time.
I like
when you have plenty of us who are creators, you've had an idea and you didn't write it down.
Yes.
Man, I had this great idea for XYZ, and you didn't write it down and you never could remember it. And it happens to me a lot. I'm in the shower and I'm like, I should have went straight to my journal.
Yes. I started using my, shout out to my boyfriend. I started using the voice recorder on my phone. So when I'm driving in the car and I'm, talking or a podcast, I hit that voice recorder and it's stream of consciousness. And then I go back like, yep, that was a good idea, and say that and do that. So I have been there. I agree. Y'all heard it's a 2 for 1. And I might have something special for my avid supporters of Friends Who Flourish. So if you have been liking, tagging, and sharing, check your DM today, because you may be blessed. So go and get your ticket. It is this Thursday, September 11th, and also Friday, September 12th. What time does the meet and greet start on Thursday?
6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m.
After work, come meet some great people, get some great food, and network.
Good. And use that PTO if you need to for Friday, because it is going to be worth it. So again, the 11th and the 12th with AJOY Consulting, come and get a wealth of knowledge, meet and greet, share. You could be stepping into the next phase of your life. So please do not hold back. And as Jasmine said, just like the caterpillar, keep putting one foot in front of the other, right? Life is going to happen around you, but it's how you're conducting yourself and what you're believing, what you're connecting yourself to. So I thank you. I am excited. Where's Thursday? Is it Thursday yet? I can't wait. So if you are watching, please, even if it is on Thursday, still take that leap, right? Reach out to AJOY Consulting. Tickets are going fast. You have a special deal today. Do not wait. Thank you. I cannot wait to see what you have curated. I can't wait to network, and I want to do this again. You have you are a wealth in the community, right? Like you are a storehouse, you are a bank, and I'm gonna come for some deposits. Okay, and some withdrawals.
Yes.
So as always, let's continue to flourish, and thank you for tuning in.
Hey friends, if you like what you're viewing, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share. And if you know any entrepreneur who would like to share their story, make sure you tag and comment below. Now let's continue to flourish.